Could your calorie deficit be holding you back from getting your best ever physique? I believe the answer is yes. The only problem is they're a necessary evil if you have extra fat to lose. So in this video, I'm going to show you why I quit trying to be in a calorie deficit, what I'm doing instead that's been making my body look better than ever, and a 5-step system you can follow to get leaner with more muscle in less time. And I know this works because it's the same strategy I've used with guys like Peter, who's in his 40s and he's lost a ton of fat and just did a set of chin-ups with a 45-pound plate hanging around his waist for 7 reps. But first, you need to understand how to break out of this cycle of trying to lose weight, but never really getting as lean as you want to be. To help you understand, let me bring you back a few years. I remember standing in the locker room at the gym one morning and I was just thinking, man, how do I still look like this? I've been tracking my calories, doing workouts and pushing hard, and still somehow I look soft and small at the same time. It's like I was doing everything right, but I still barely looked like I lifted weights. And I'd look around and there were just random dudes following dumb idiot programs with crappy technique, and they look better than me. To make matters worse, there were probably at least 7 times where I'd try to do a cut, and sometimes I'd even lose a solid chunk of weight, but then I'd look somehow worse at the end of it, and I'd try to gain muscle back, but I'd just get fat, and I'd do that over and over again. And there was this cycle of feeling like I should be doing better, but nothing was changing. Eventually, I just got so pissed off that I wanted to do something differently, and I hired a coach who showed me how to actually eat to see visible changes to my body. And that's when things really started to change. I started seeing veins popping up on my arms, my abs got harder, my chest and my shoulders started popping, and more importantly, my workouts actually started progressing and they became something I enjoyed instead of just something I dreaded. The lesson here is that you need to properly commit once to losing fat. When you do it right, you'll get it over with quicker and dramatically change the trajectory of your physique. It's this kind of half-cut, half-accidental bulk purgatory that keeps people stuck looking the same year after year in the gym. It's called bodybuilding for a reason, and this applies even if you don't want to be a person strutting around in sparkly underwear with a friggin' tan on looking like an Oompa Loompa on stage. You can't build anything noteworthy if you're constantly tearing it down and never giving it an extended period of being well-fed and training hard. Now that you know that, let me show you the 5-step process you need to follow in order to finally quit wasting your time with these half-assed calorie deficits that get you nowhere. I go a little more in detail into this stuff in my free 21-day fat loss program, but let's get into this. Step 1 is to pick your starting point. Most people just have no idea how much fat they need to lose. And if that's you, that's totally fine. You don't need perfect numbers here. If you have a little bit of fat to lose, let's say 8 to maybe 15 pounds, well, it's probably gonna take you, I don't know, 6 to maybe 8 weeks if you really push hard on it. If you have a decent chunk of fat to lose, like 15 to maybe 20 pounds, well, that's probably gonna take you like 10, 12 weeks if you're really focused. If you have a lot of fat to lose, let's call it 25 plus pounds, well, it's gonna take you something like 12 to 24 weeks, right? Depending on how high that goes. Ultimately, you're not trying to get shredded here. You're just trying to get some good momentum. What I wanna see you do is one focused fat loss phase that you actually finish, and then we can reassess later. That's the critical difference here, is that every fat loss phase has a distinct start and an end. You know what it's like when you get invited over to someone's house and then they say we're gonna have dinner at 7, so you show up at 6, you open the wine, you talk a little bit, everyone's hanging out, dinner actually ends up getting served at like 8, 8:30, and then the conversation kind of peters out and drags on until someone says, hey, let's have dessert, and now it's 10:30. Like, bro, just tell me to show up before the food is ready, you know what I mean? Okay, step 2 is to set your deadline. Most people fail at losing fat because they don't have an end date in mind. You just end up running into this fat loss diet blindly, and it feels very difficult when it's an open-ended thing because dieting for fat loss is hard. When you have a specific end date, it lights a fire under your ass to actually get things done. So pick a date based on how much weight you had to lose earlier. Let's say it's 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. I probably wouldn't go much above that. Just write it down, figure out exactly what is 8 weeks from the day you want to get started, and then commit to being done on that date. That deadline gives you urgency, it forces effort, precision, and intensity. And when that date hits, you are stopping. There's no dragging it out for a few more weeks like a shitty dinner party. You finish what you started, or else your Uncle Matteo is gonna come find you and smack you upside the head. Make the time count that you've allotted for it. Get it over with and get it done. Step 3 is to raise your food. Yes, you're gonna increase your calorie targets once your cut ends. This is all about restoring your energy, bringing hormones back to baseline, getting more recovery, better workouts. Let's use this food to build some muscle and drive momentum for further progress down the line. Also a great opportunity for you to build more healthy lifestyle habits, like getting more sleep and making better food choices, which is so much easier to do when you're not dieting for fat loss. Honestly, I swear, majority of people who go to the gym, at least for funsies, are just doing it when they're dieting. And then when they're not dieting, they don't go to the gym. So it's no wonder your workouts suck and you hate it. Man, if you spent 6 months or a year lifting weights without dieting and restricting your food, you would have so much more fun because your numbers would go up. You'd build way more muscle, and you'd actually sleep better too. Okay, rant over. Step number 4 is to cruise. And this is where most people blow it. You finish your cut, you raise your calories, and then 2 weeks later, you're back at the weight that you started your cut at. What a waste of time, energy, and effort. Like, bro, you went through all the broccoli farts just to throw it away in 2 weeks? At least take some pictures in Cancun first. So here's how you can avoid that. Number 1, expect some weight gain, but understand what you're looking for here. You want to have some guardrails in place. The scale is probably going to jump like 1 to 3% of your body weight, so 2 to maybe 6 pounds when your body is depleted. It's like a sponge. It soaks up those carbs. Your body stores some water. It's not body fat. You're also gonna have more food in your digestive tract. You're gonna season more food that you eat. So more salt means more water gets stored. It's a good sign. It means you're refilling and everything is going well. But we shouldn't be gaining 10, 11 pounds. If you're going up that high, something is going wrong. The second thing you can do is add a modest amount of calories, something like 400 to 600 calories per day on top of what you were dieting on. That way you're not throwing 1,000 calories at yourself and just going way overboard. So if you ended your cut at 2,000 calories, you're gonna jump to 2,400 to 2,600, depending how big of a person you are. And then we're just gonna watch your weekly averages. If your weight is still dropping a pound a week on average, we're gonna add 100 calories per day. If it's 3 or 4 weeks and you're still gaining at least half a pound a week, well, maybe it's time to just pull 100 calories away. You don't have to be perfect about the scale, just think about stabilizing things here a little bit. It's kind of like learning to just push the cruise control button instead of slamming on the gas or the brakes. Keep your structure, keep tracking your food, keep your steps consistent, keep training hard in the gym. This is not the time to go crazy on all kinds of cheat meals right out of the gate as soon as your diet's finished. This is where the real magic happens. If you only ever know how to say YOLO, fuck it, my body weight is off the rails, or I'm super strict in dieting, you're only ever gonna fly between the two of those. Surprise. The fifth thing you can do is just reframe mentally what maintenance is all about. It's not about chasing new highs on the scale like you were doing when you were chasing lows with fat loss. It's just about eating enough food so that your body feels nice and safe, healthy and chilled, and you can drive performance up in the gym and whatever athletic pursuits and life pursuits you're doing. It feels a lot less exciting, I know, and folks I work with are like, hey, how do I know I'm on the right track here? Am I doing all the right things? And I'm like, yeah, man, just chill. You're doing great. Are you feeling good? Hunger, mood, energy-wise? We're sleeping well? Training is going great? And they're like, yep, cool. Don't touch anything. It's going great. And that's where the final step of the system comes in that'll really help you just relax and actually enjoy this whole fitness game so much more. I want you to zoom out with me here for a second and think long-term. Even though you probably have some vacation or a birthday coming up 6, 8, 12 weeks from now that you want to be in great shape for, I want you to remember that the best physiques, your best ever physique, isn't going to be built from some really rapid fat loss diet you do with some fun protocol that's really effective. It's about extended periods of time on task doing the things you need to be doing without too much backward progress. And there's really like 3 main buckets you can fall into here. If you're kind of just the average Joe with not a ton of muscle and a little bit of extra fat, okay, cool. We're probably going to need to lose a good chunk of fat, maintain the body weight, maybe lose a little more fat, and then we're gonna build up slowly, gaining a bunch of muscle before we reveal it again in a cut. If you're a super skinny guy and you feel like just bony and scrawny, well, maybe we have a diet that looks more like this. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of gaining, maybe a little bit of fat loss diet just to clean up any fat we gained along the period, and then a little bit more diet or gaining for a long period of time. If you're a dude with just lots of fat that needs to go, your focus is gonna look more like this. Lots and lots and lots of fat loss, a little break so we don't backslide and we give our body a little bit of time to recover, and then again some more fat loss and repeat until we're as lean as we want to be. So let's pull out your calendar, put this in there, and make it something that's real and not just something that would be nice to do someday. Okay, starting January 1st, we've got winter into spring. Let's say we're going to do an 8 to 10 week fat loss push. It's going to end on this specific date. We're going to go from around 190 pounds down to 180 pounds. You don't have to be perfect here. You can give yourself a range. Now, let's say this guy wants to put on a bunch of muscle. Well, spring all the way into fall, we've got 6 solid months there where we're gonna allow the body weight to just kind of slowly creep up, something like 1 pound per month. So we're going from 180 to around 186. In the fall, we're gonna do another quick 6-week fat loss diet to clean up some of the fat that we gained during that muscle gain diet, and we're gonna lose something like 6 pounds and bring us back down to around 180. Except this time when we got to 180, we now have an extra few pounds of muscle on us. We look even better. And now we have another 3 months to the end of the year, and maybe 3 months into the year after that, where we can allow the body weight to creep back up slowly, or even just maintain the body weight and really focus on putting some more muscle on. Nice long, slow periods of maintenance or muscle growth dieting where we're putting on size without allowing too much body fat to come on, and then short but focused and intense periods of fat loss where we get it over with and we get it done so we can get back to the most enjoyable and productive parts of training. Can you see how each phase kind of sets up the next one? And when you look at it from a calendar standpoint, you should really be able to limit yourself and say, look, I'm only going to realistically do a couple of good fat loss pushes here per year. Anything more than that, and you either have a lot of fat to lose or you're just dilly-dallying on the fat loss and you could be doing it way more efficiently. And I'm telling you, over time, those phases, especially those growth phases where it feels like nothing is really happening, those things compound. And then when you do your next fat loss diet, it's like, holy shit, what? That's what I've been building this whole time? But honestly, no matter how much food you eat during this maintenance or this muscle growth period, you can't just force feed your body to grow muscle by eating more food. So make sure you watch this video next where I cover 10 things I wish I knew when I first started lifting that would have got me where I am muscularity-wise way sooner with a lot less headache along the way.